You know, video games are a strange medium. I mean, they're built on the whole concept and idea of being fun. And based on such a thing, you would think it's impossible for someone to get screwed in a video game as though they were gambling. But that did happen to me, and here are 6 examples of that.
We will start off this dinner date with some well done meat with Super Meatboy. If you missed this indie gem when it came out back in 2010, then let me fill you in on what this little game is. Super Meatboy is a platformer with over 300 levels where you'll have to navigate your way through buzzsaws, lasers, meat-seeking missiles, crumbling rocks, demons, maggots, and oops. That said though, the game is forgiving because the stages are all seconds short and you are free to retry as many times as you would like. Now you would think that it's not possible to screw yourself in such a game because, well, the game is very generous with its checkpoints. In fact, that's one of the things that people praise this game the most for. The fact when you die, you immediately get to try again. Unfortunately, this feature does not apply to the special stages where you get to unlock extra characters. Now this is not a problem for the majority of the characters, but it is for one of them, the kid in this case, who has by far the most difficult stages in the game. I mean, it took me so long to just beat his first stage, and this is where I screwed myself, because I decided to play his stage very late at night. Which means that by the time I beat his first stage, it was already time for bed. And that's problematic because if I turned my PC off, then that would mean I would have to start from the first kid stage. And so I screwed myself. I ended up doing what 90s kids used to do before we had autosave. I left my PC on all night.
What a horrific experience. Next up is number 2 with Dark Cloud 2.
Arguably my favorite game of all time, Dark Cloud 2 was released in 2003, almost 15 years ago, now on what is, in my humble opinion, the greatest gaming console of all time. The PlayStation 2, developed by Level 5, who also made classics such as Ni no Kuni, Rogue Galaxy, and Dragon Quest VIII Journey of the Cursed King. But that said, there was a time when Dark Cloud 2 wasn't my favorite game of all time. That time being when I screwed myself, because you see, despite the amazing things Dark Cloud 2 has, like the beautiful cel-shaded graphics, fun combat, adorable story, lovable characters, a train, world building, and more, what it doesn't have is an auto save feature, which means that if you die, you restart from the last time you saved. There are no checkpoints, so if you played for 2 hours, then died, you have to do the 2 hours all over again. Now, while there are quite a few times this happened to me, I would like to bring attention to the time when I played the game for 6 hours. 6 hours without saving, and then
you died.
No.
What happened then?
The power went out.
How did that feel?
Well, about the same way a normal person would feel who's been playing Five Nights at Freddy's and then the power runs out.
Next up on our list is Mega Man freaking X, a game that needs no introduction. Being the continuation to the classic series, the X series had big shoes to fill, and boy did it fill them. I mean, what do I need to say about this game that hasn't been said before? This game is just...
Here is how I screwed myself in Mega Man X.
It wasn't autosave this time, it was instead what older games used during that time period, which was the password system.
You're probably thinking, how could the password system screw you over? It's a password system, just put in the password and it should work. Right? No. No.
You see, for some inexplicable reason, none of the passwords beyond the first Sigma stage would work. I mean, when you beat the stages, the game does give you passwords, but they don't work. Nowadays, that's not a big problem because Mega Man X is one of my favorite games and I can beat it in like an hour. But that was not the case when I was 10 years old.
You know nostalgia, that thing that makes most people forget all the horrible stuff they went through when they were kids and only remember the good times? Well, I remember all the horrible hardships I went through with this game trying to get to Sigma as an 8-year-old. It's not nice at all.
Getting to him, writing down the password only to have it not work, which made me leave my SNES on all night every time I would get to Sigma so that I wouldn't lose my progress, while also sleeping with a horrific thought that my SNES could blow up, burning the house down as I slept.
Burn to the ground! Burn to the ground! Burn to the ground! Burn to the burn!
You know, I never actually managed to beat Mega Man X when I was a kid. It took until the Mega Man X collection came out on the PS2 when I was much older and wiser did I actually... Oh, who am I kidding? Even when I was much older and wiser, I could not still beat that Sigma. Well, I beat him, but he killed me so many times. Him and his stupid dog.
Alright, 2 more games to go, and this time it's a thing that relates to saving, so it's not exclusive to Devil May Cry. The reason I'm showing Devil May Cry footage here is because this recently happened to me while I was playing the iconic hack and slash series starring everybody's favorite half-human, half-demon Devil Slayer. Oh, sorry Dante, guess you're out, can't believe Ninja Theory forgot that wrong. Just like I got that sentence. Anyway, while playing Devil May Cry 3 and facing countless hard-hitting bosses like Angie and Rudra, whatever this thing is, and this annoying horse, I didn't realize that my greatest enemy would not be any of these bosses, but put simply, it's saving over your save file. Now, Devil May Cry 3 is a special case because you have one save file for Virgil, Dante's brother from the same mother, and one save file for Dante. And the two shall never overlap, because if they do, you lose the save file for that character. But one day, one stupid day, I have no idea how this happened, but I was playing as Virgil and I accidentally saved over my Dante save file. The Dante save file that had my Dante with maxed out health, maxed out Devil Trigger, and all styles maxed to the 3rd level. I repeat, all styles maxed to the 3rd level.
Do you guys have any idea how long it takes to level up a style to level 3 at 999,999 points? Not to mention that I already beat the game on hard and very hard mode. And in very hard mode, Virgil is a complete and utter wanker. I think I used that correctly. But anyways, next!
Next up, we have Grandia 3, a game that is a sequel to one of my favorite games of all time, that game being obviously Grandia 2. And you wanna know something? I actually enjoyed all the Grandia games. Grandia 1, which follows the adventure of Justin and Sue. Grandia 2, which just play it. It's on Steam, just play it. And I even enjoyed Grandia Extreme a lot. But that trend changed when I got Grandia 3, booted it up, and I saw this, made by Square Enix. Why is that a problem? Well, most people don't mind this, but to me it's a very big deal when it comes to JRPGs. I don't like grinding, and Square Enix, annoyingly enough, tends to artificially extend a game's length by making you grind for 100 hours. Take Grandia 2 for example. If you got into every enemy encounter, then to the best of my knowledge, you can get to the end without grinding all that much. That said, the game is still a 30-hour or so adventure, and this is where I screwed myself. In Grandia 3, made by Screw Grinding Enix, you need to grind. The problem was that I played this game as though I was playing Grandia 2, and so I got to an area where I was stuck, enemies were too strong for me to beat, and I couldn't backtrack to level up. So my only option was to restart from the beginning, and keep in mind, I was on disc 2. In fact, I still have my save file in the area where I got stuck, so let's load this baby up and see that demented area. That part was, well, would you look at that? I actually cleared it. Huh, makes you wonder about all the people that remember things about the games they played when they were younger or when they were kids. On a side note, I forgot to add this game to the list while editing, so I don't have any camera footage of me ranting, which is kind of appropriate considering the list. Anyways, next! Now we get to the final entry on this list, a game I fell back in love with thanks to Resident Evil 7, and that is Resident Evil 2. I really forgot how good this game is. It's bloody amazing. The game was released in 1998 for the N64, the PlayStation 1, and the Dreamcast. Now, I'm not sure which Resident Evil game I played first as a kid. I know for certain it wasn't Resident Evil 1. It was either Resident Evil 2, 3 or Survivor.
Figure that shit out on your own time. Get on with the list.
Alright, Jesus.
Many of you that played Resident Evil 2 will know exactly which part I will be talking about here, but for those of you not in the know, in Resident Evil 2 you have your pick to play one of two characters, either Leon or Claire Redfield. And once you beat the game with either characters, which will be the scenario A of that character, you get to play the scenario B of the second character by continuing from the same save file after beating the game. The thing is, I played Claire's A scenario when I was a kid. I beat it and I never completed the game. And given that it's been like over 15 years since I played the game, it's no wonder that when I played Leon's A scenario and I got to the locker with the backpack and the machine gun.
Oh.
Exactly.
You see, when you play the game with either characters, you get to a locker that presents you with two items, a modification to your backpack that will allow you to carry more stuff, and a machine gun. Now you can either take both with you on your adventure or take none.
Now, why take nothing, you might ask? Because when you get to play scenario B and get with the other character to where the locker is, if you left both items, they will find both items. If you left nothing, like I did, they'll find nothing.
And seeing as I took both when I was playing as Leon, because he said, and I quote, "I should probably save it for Claire, not leave it for Claire, save it for Claire." I thought at some point during the game they would meet and I would give her the machine gun, but no, I took both. And from what I understand, when I play as Claire after beating the game with Leon, she will get neither. And if this game fact poll is to be believed, then Claire's scenario B is the hardest in the game.
I'm just contemplating whether to start a new game or continue playing as Claire and try to beat the game without the machine gun and side pack. I'll see you guys in the next video.